information. How many people have heard of Google Code Search? Great. Yeah, so basically Google Code Search is their index and interface to search all of the open source code repositories on the web. Things like SourceForge, Microsoft's CodePlex, and even Google's own Subversion interface that they allow anyone to add code to the Google Code. And so you can actually search this interface with regular expressions. I don't know, how many people knew that? A few of you? Okay. You can develop regular expressions to search for things like select statement and then request.query string in the same line to identify SQL injection. Or you can identify things like remote file includes or cross-site scripting. And so let's take a look at some of the things we found with that. This is actually another technique that we're using now to identify vulnerable software that's popular and create Google queries that will find that software. And we actually have an intern working on this as well to build out the SLDB. We can see that some of these are blog software or PHP commenting systems or forum software that an organization, or especially someone that's responsible for the security of an organization, might not even know is being used in their environment. Maybe the developer just was told to build this forum for our website so that our users can complain about our software. And they went and just pulled some open source project and put it on the site. And they maybe just assumed that it had no security vulnerabilities, but no one actually reviewed it. This would enable us to find things like that and publish advisories for them and update queries so that you can search your domains and find out if you're using this software. And so really that's the approach that we're taking currently to, as I said, to build out our database. But conversely, there's the black hat approach to this, where you could verify those vulnerabilities and then search the web and bolster the effectiveness of your mass injection attacks. And we actually saw a blog software that that we were able to see had SQL injection in it, and then it has the ability to, it has the powered by name of the blog version number at the bottom. And then, so we could search for that with Google and then search for in-URL members.asp. And then we can identify all of those URLs that are exposed that are vulnerable. And from that result, I actually noticed that the blog software was really popular in China. There's thousands of sites using it in China. And so I don't know if there's organizations that would be interested in that, or if that's basically something that we might see as the next mass injection target.
So I think it was 25,000 sites running this blogging software that we now know has SQL injection and exactly where it's at, and can now just go out and start exploiting. And all we have to do is Google for powered by that blogging software to find them.
How many of you are familiar with Black Hat SEO? Great. It's a search engine optimization technique that, which search engine optimization, for those of you that don't know, is what people use to get their web page into the top results of search engines. Obviously, this is very key to marketing and making a profit, because when you search for wolf socks, you want to be the top result if you're going to sell all of your wolf socks.
It's a tough market.
Yeah, it's growing rapidly. But so basically, whenever there's like an event that someone is searching a lot, like Twilight when that came out, and when the World Cup was going on, there's a lot of people searching for those terms. And so what malware writers are doing is they're actually using search engine optimization techniques to get their links to the top results of Google, and so they can effectively acquire more victims.
So what we see here is Google Trends. How many of you guys are familiar with Google Trends? A little bit, some interesting stuff in there. One of the interesting things is that in the last 6 years in the United States, the most often search term is the word lyrics. And if you can imagine, if you've ever heard any songs and you piece together a few lyrics and you wanted to know the name of that song, you go to Google, type in the couple lyrics like Lady Gaga, Poker Face, anything like that, and the word lyrics, and click go. What we see here with this cutout, within a few hours of a Java exploit coming out, a few hours later, Lady Gaga and Rihanna lyrics websites were immediately put up to exploit this Java bug that came out that day, and they used Black Hat search engine optimization to make it so that if you Googled for Lady Gaga lyrics or Rihanna lyrics, all of the first several pages of Google results, which look legitimate lyric sites, as soon as you click on them, you're popped with fake AV or some other type of malware.
And so really the solution to this would be for artists to just sing more clearly.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that Alicia Keys song, Empire State of Mind? She sounds like she's saying, I've become a wet dream tomato. So if people would know what she's saying, they wouldn't have to search for the lyrics and we'd all be safe.
You watch, next time you hear that song, it's when she said, what dreams are made of. She sounds like, I've become a wet dream tomato. You will not be able to hear anything else now, I swear, when you listen to that song.
But actually, some real defenses that may be effective against this are, and it's something that the major browser providers are actively pursuing because they want to protect their customers, and that is using malware filters. Like the Google Safe Browsing API, Microsoft's Smart Screen Filter, Yahoo's Search Scan. These are all things that are integrated into their search results and integrated into their browsers that will just, you've probably seen the reported attack site when you try to visit a URL before, and that's just kind of warning you that if you proceed at your own risk, this may be malware or phishing. Some other techniques would be using sandboxing software. One of my personal favorites is Sandboxy. It's a tool that basically protects any write access on your system when you're launching your browser within that sandbox. Anytime any file that you download, even if you download a picture or something, it's going to say, do you want to recover this to somewhere that's writable? And it also protects things to access to named pipes, registry keys, and some more level of protection than what running with low privileges in the browser allows for.
Yeah, I think this is important to note. As computer people in general, you probably get asked by your mom or cousin or sister or brother-in-law about they got fake antivirus installed on their computer and they want to know how to get rid of it and how they got it in the first place. And it's no longer from going to malicious sites or shady sites. It's just Googling for Lady Gaga and all of a sudden their PC's taking over. I believe some of the latest studies on antivirus software catching these things are the latest variants are as low as 10%. So it's not really a solution. Even using Google Safe Browsing or Microsoft Smart Screen Filter and some of these things, some of the more recent studies show they don't really help you out that much. Yeah, it's a little better, but it's not really a solution. I think sandboxing is really catching on right now. We've used Sandboxy for a while. I know Dell just came out last week with their own secure browser based on sandboxing, and Adobe just last week, I believe, as well, decided they were going to go the route of sandboxing to try to prevent these things. So you could browse all day to malicious sites or all the fake Lady Gaga.
And if you get infected, you just throw that sandbox away.
You just throw the sandbox away.
Now, we're really seeing recently that malware is going crazy with mass injection attacks. Just last month, there was the Asian bot that was just looking to install malware to steal Asian game passwords that got out of control and infected the ad providers for Wall Street Journal and Jerusalem Post. And so this is basically just everyone kind of glazes over the fact that with mass injections, such as like the ASP Rocks worm that was popular about a year ago, step one has search Google for sites that are disclosing that they're vulnerable. And so we kind of just wanted to basically raise awareness that there are some techniques we can use to identify what are those malicious links and alert ourselves to if our site becomes infected with them.
Yeah. Again, in this case, and the news on that up front, how does this attack start with this mass SQL injection attack? We see in the bottom right that the number of websites compromised vary between 7,000 and 114,000, which is kind of a big range of compromised websites. We know that Wall Street Journal was, as well as a few other big ones. But what they did in this case was just wait for an Adobe Flash vulnerability to come out, had all these 10,000 or 7,000 or 114,000 sites already scoped out to exploit. And as soon as that came out, they just pop them and append it to every page. Anyone who comes to this page also redirect them to this exploit. Thereby, anyone who went to Wall Street Journal that day got their browser popped.
And so these URL blacklists are, they're expanding, but they're, it's difficult to kind of know what are in those. What should I be aware of? But when you go maybe in Chrome or Firefox now, you're told that this may be a reported attack site. And I really appreciate the effort on their part to try to maintain some semblance of user protection. But the fact of the matter is that most website administrators have no idea when their site's been infected. This is something came across on the NetSec list on Reddit, where a guy basically, he said, some dickhead emailed me and told me my site's coming up as a reported attack site whenever distributing malware whenever people visit it in Chrome. And so a few weeks went by, he didn't believe him. And then he basically realized, oh wait, it actually is, even though I thought there was no way this was possible. But a few weeks went by before he even believed that this was something that was happening. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if there was a better way to be alerted to if your site's been infected?
Other than the dickhead alert notification system.
Yeah.
Protect your neck, fool.
So one concept that we're actively pursuing is, we're just currently calling it Malware Diggity, is using some of the search engine functionality that exists now to identify malware in a site or sites linking to malware. So one of the features that Bing has is link from domain. And that gets you all of the external links on your site. So if you were to put in link from domain stacklu.com, you get everywhere that we're linking to that's not also stacklu.com. And this could be used to basically run through the open APIs, like the Google Safe Browsing API. It provides you a list of MD5 hashes of over 500,000 of them, of known malware sites and known phishing sites, and I can just hash those, all of my offsite links, and make sure that none of those are malware sites. That's just something that you can, all those URLs you can pull down from Bing.
So how many people here work for a company that has a website that has a lot of people who come to it? A lot of people? Yeah. How confident are you that right now it's not taking all the people who come to your site and also linking them off and sending them to malware sites?
Do you have any kind of...
One person is extremely confident right over there.
The guy's got some kind of alert system probably, right? Yeah. You have something monitoring your site to let you know?
Other than the dickhead
Other than
alert.
the dickheads?
Yeah, so if you're a Wall Street Journal, there's a lot of people taking a look at it. You may be in a good spot where someone lets you know ahead of time, but if you are a smaller site or just unlucky, you could be sending all of your users to malware sites, and if you don't really have any way to detect that.
Right. So what this will give you, for some of the more simplistic distribution attacks, like some of these mass injection attacks, this will be a good way to identify if your page is linked to those. And we can utilize the Bing's format equals RSS to just get an RSS feed of any new links that are picked up by the Bing index from your site to run those also through the Safe Browsing API, and then identify if they're dangerous.
So Malware Diggity, which we'll be distributing through our site again, will sit there, monitor your site or as many domains as you specify for new links off of it, compare those to known malware lists, and then let you know, hey, by the way, you have a new link off of your website and it's to this malware site. You are now distributing malware to all of your user base. And a nice little system tray. That's a lot of text for a system tray, but it's all in there.
Yeah, some of the other features that are out there, like Yahoo Site Explorer, will give you information such as in-linking. So I thought that it might be interesting to actually take URLs that are known to distribute malware and then get a list of all of the sites that they link to, and or that rather that's linking to them. So I can see that Wall Street Journal is linking to robint.us/j.js, which is malware. And this is something that you're kind of just also passively monitoring as new things get in the index. You would be aware of this. I mean, this is not something that's really very complete and wholesome, but it's better than nothing. If you want something that's a bit more proactive and is actually going to do things like deobfuscate the JavaScript of the malware that's embedded in your site, I'd recommend checking out Armorize's Hack Alert. They actually will crawl your site for you rather than relying on Yahoo or Google Especially if you're a site that has a lot of static content, the Google bot's not gonna crawl you very often, maybe like once